because if my sales goal is 6,000, but I have 4 parties on my calendar, and I broke it down and I say, okay, this one's probably going to be, maybe each one of them is going to be $1,000. That's not going to reach my level that I want of the 6,000. So then I make a new goal of now I need to add 4 more parties to my calendar. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to show you guys just some of my stats. So she talked about stats, and I know this is probably small for some of you, but I'm just going to kind of read it off. So in 2013, and pretty much 4 years before that, I just kind of sat stagnant, and I did the same thing every single year. So I made about $11,000 every year. And I was content with that, and I think that's why it was okay that I continued to do that. And in 2013, I held 61 parties. I made my directorship 6 months out of that year. I had 7 recruits, and in a whole year, I sold almost $35,000, and I had a show average of $571. So these stats for most of you would probably be like, wow, that's really amazing, that's what I want to do. But I wanted more because I wanted that 3rd level. So pretty much in 2014 with this goal that I'm going to share with you how to do it, I actually doubled my sales. So I had 21,000, I'm sorry, that's what I made. I had 106 parties. So, and I wrote this down, hold on, just to give you an example. So I only had 45 more shows than I did the previous year, and everything doubled. And I had 14 recruits and 2 team recruits. So I had 2 people on my team, get somebody on there, and then I doubled my recruiting. And then my sales were 68,000. So I added 33,475, and that was an average of $73.36 per show. How easy does that sound, though? If you're just I only added 45 shows. That's all I added in the year, and I doubled everything. And I only added $73 per show. And that's really just getting 1 to 2 more people at each show. And so when you break it down that simple, it's like, oh, well, I could do that. I can ask them, okay, well, so you have 10, let's see what we can do to get a couple more. And you know that that's going to take you a little bit farther, right? So that's pretty much what I did. And then I just want to share with you what I've already done this year on the same plan. I have sales of 38,000 just about this year. I've done 55 shows. And my show average is 689, so I went up from 644 last year to 689, so I added even more, just about $45 more. I already have 10 recruits, so I'm on track. I want 20. And then what I focused on a lot more this year is team sales, and I've increased my team sales just in the last 6 months of almost 13,000. So an average about 2,000 more team sales each month. And so one thing that you can do with this, and I'm trying to go fast because I don't only have 3 minutes left here, and then this is like the huge part that I wanted to share. But this is what I do at home. I write my goals down on a sheet of paper, and then I pretty much transfer them to a whiteboard. Can you guys see this? So in the middle of it is a circle, and these are actually what I wrote on here are some ideas of what you could use. You want to hold this for me? Thank you. Of what you could use for new consultants. So I actually do this at a new consultant training, and I do this at home for myself. So I have a big whiteboard. I write in every, it's just an erase board, and the erase board works the best because you're going to change this every single month. But I write all my goals right in the center, and then the stickers are on the outside. So 6 cooking shows per month, or that month, this is an idea for new consultants. 3 online training courses, attend a director's show, book 2 parties from each party, try 3 new recipes, call 30 people, 1,250 in my first 30 days. So super simple, and these are things that you would actually work on with your consultants when you're training them. For myself, I might have 4,000 in sales. I might have 10 active consultants. I'm going to know how many more parties do I need to book that month in order to get my 6,000 in sales. That's going to be in there. And what's super exciting is every time you get it, you take a sticker and you move it to the center. Cool. And then you just keep moving it. And it's so exciting every time you get to move one of those stickers to the center. And towards the end of the month, when it's all filled up, it's just really exciting. And a lot of times I call Marna like, oh, it's full, or I send her a picture of where I've been. I send a picture to my friends of how close I am that month. To all of my goals. And one other thing that's really important that I want to share is I use a different color every single month. So if I haven't reached that goal that month, it has to stay there until I reach it, and then I can go ahead and move it to the center. And I also want to just share, because I only have 1 minute left, another really important piece of this is that you want to have strategic goals. It can't just be like, oh, well, I'll just go with 4,000 and we'll put that there. So each one of them are very strategic based on what I want for that entire year. Does that make sense? Yes. I have a whole bunch more stuff, so, and obviously I can't get to all of it. Goal setting is very passionate, part of my business, and I work on it all the time, and I'm constantly changing it just to make it whatever I need. A lot of times people ask me, well, what exactly goals are you making? And I just have to tell you that the goals I can't help you with because they have to be based on what you want from your business, because my goals are going to be different than everybody else's goals, right? But if you need some ideas, I do have a file that I can give them, and it's all written out on ideas that you can use for goals. I have, like, if you just want to make $1,000 a month, I have a whole bunch of information about that. And some very, very simple goals just to start is you could start with, because I told you before I used to have 61 parties, and one of my main goals last year was just to have 100 shows, and like I said, I had 106. So you could start there, just have 100 shows in the year. You could start with making $1 more each month than you did the year before. Increasing the show average, you could do that, adding an extra 1 or 2 people to your show. So you can start really simple, and then eventually it'll just help you kind of grow bigger. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. And you can find me on Facebook if you have more questions, and I'll help you. Like I said, there's just so much, and I don't have a ton of time to tell you. So hopefully I taught you something today.
Any support documents, like we said at the beginning, will be put on the tab called Pre-Conference Workshop Training. So if any speaker refers to a document, that's where it will be, okay? Now, it's with pleasure that I introduce Love Carpenter and Courtney Cheney. Let's give them a big round of applause. Last year, Love Carpenter, who's an executive director, was invited to be the keynote speaker for the Pampered Chef Canada. And I'm excited to inform you that this year she's been invited because she did such a fabulous job to be the keynote speaker for Pampered Chef UK. Exciting things have been happening on Love's team. I said it is totally not fair that you don't share with Pampered Chef United States some of the things that you're sharing all over the world, right? Do you agree with me? Okay, and so I'm going to hand the microphone to Love. She doesn't need explanation, but I will tell you. Okay, this is like, let's make a deal. Does anybody know what Love's previous career was prior to Pampered Chef? Okay, shout it out. She was a state trooper.
All right. Thank you, Marie. Okay, so I'm going to sum up this training in 5 minutes, okay? So before Pampered Chef, you guys know I did a very different career. So in starting this, I did not go into this business with any kind of business mindset at all. I was a cop, for goodness sake, so I had no business background. So when I started, I really just started for the kit, and that was it. I was going to do this for 1 month and quit. So you have to watch those people who want to just start for the kit, because that was totally me. And in my second month, I held 2 shows a week and made over $1,000 in my second month, and that's why I stayed. And that was working 2 shows a week in addition to a full-time job where I worked 80 to over 100 hours every single week. I worked a rotating shift, and I was on call. And I managed to complete that whole year doing 2 shows a week, no matter what. I earned the top level trip to Germany, and I wasn't even in the entire earning period. I started Pampered Chef after it started. And I earned that trip as a consultant because I didn't quite get off to a great start with recruiting. I didn't recruit anybody for my first 6 months in the business. No one, okay? So I feel like I'm a decent recruiter now, but if you're sitting out there and you're not a great recruiter, you can totally learn how to do any skill in this business. And I am total proof of that because I couldn't cook, had no business background, didn't recruit in the beginning, so I've learned how to do all that along the way. So I guess what I wanted to share with you now is that and this is a lot of what I shared last summer in Canada, and I'll be sharing in London, is that when I started with Pampered Chef and then saw more goals and I could grow my business and do more, I really saw that I wanted to move up in the career plan, but I wasn't real fast at it. I was not on the fast track by any means. And after I was fast approaching 10 years in the business, I was still at the director and advanced director level. I had gone back a couple times. And there's nothing wrong with being a director or advanced director, but my goals were higher than that. And I had always said I wanted to be an executive director in this company, but evidently I wasn't doing the right things, because at about 10 years in the business, I was an advanced director with one director, Jennifer, on my team. She's here today. And that was a real turning point in my business when my son turned 1. And I was really taking a hard look at this. I was making good money for the hours I was putting in and the time I was putting in, but I was really at a turning point where I had to decide, was I going to go back to work and get another job, or if I was going to make this my career? And that was the big turning point for me. And me and my husband had a long talk about it, through a lot of prayer, really decided that this is what I wanted to do. I had worked for myself for so long, I didn't want to work for someone else, but I wasn't making the career time money that my family needed. So I got really serious about what I was doing. So what I kind of want to share with you is just some of the changes that I made. When I took a real hard look at where I was and why I wasn't where I wanted to be, what I realized is that it was me that needed to change. It wasn't my customers, it wasn't my team, it wasn't my host, it wasn't my consultants. It was me that was going to have to change the way I did things. Kandace mentioned earlier that definition of doing the same thing over and over and getting the same results. So I knew that I had to make some big changes if I wanted to be able to move my business forward. So one of the first things I started doing was just reaching out to people at a higher level than me and really finding out what they were doing that was working that wasn't happening for me. But then here's the real big thing. I had to be open to change and trying that. And I know that's hard for a lot of us, and I know it was really hard for me. So for over the past 7 years, I've been very open to change, and I've changed a lot of how I do things in my business. The Station Style Show was one of them. My whole organization rocks out a Station Style Show. And we're growing faster than we've grown in years. And we're bringing in more people in our team than we have in years. And so just being open to doing something new to see if it can give you different results. I have a whole team of Gen Y directors, and those that aren't think they're Gen Y. And, so they really challenge me with new things that I don't want to do. So every time I say we need to do a phone call, they're like, no phone call, love, we need to do a video. So all these things that I've done have been because of our leadership team and our director team. And so they've really forced me to step outside the box. So tonight, I just want to share with you the changes that I made 6 years ago in my business to build to an executive team aren't really necessarily the same changes that I would be making today to do that, because business is so evolving and things have changed so much. So even though I did make changes back then that propelled us forward, those aren't the same changes you would be looking for today, if that makes sense. So just trying to keep up in today's economy and today's business world, you know, really take a hard look at what you're doing and the results that you're getting. And if there's something that you want to get differently, I really challenge you to see what's working for other people and really try something different. And I think that that willingness to change and try is what's really helped the growth of our team. And I'm so excited for the leadership team that I work with, because they really bring a lot of that to the table. So one of the big changes that our team has made this year, I have Advanced Director Courtney Cheney on my team, who's been with us for years now, and she's really challenged me to do all this new technology stuff and Gen Y stuff. So she's going to share with you something our team's been doing that has really had a big effect on the growth of our team and relationships within our team. So, Courtney.
I love Carpenter up here in jeans, which tells you that she's definitely wanting to change.
I used to never wear jeans to my shows. My Gen Y directors have me wearing jeans to my shows.
Yeah.
Okay, something that we've implemented in our team this year that has had really big results is utilizing a service called Zoom Conference, okay? I know there's a lot of you in the room today who probably have a lot of experience with this already, but there's probably a lot of people who don't have experience with it. So what I'm going to do is kind of give you the why behind why we use this and kind of share some results, but I'm also going to share kind of just a few logistics of how it works. But we have a picture here, and I'm really sorry to my friends. I picked the most attractive picture of all of them here, but I had to get it like yesterday. So this is just an example of what a Zoom conference looks like, and basically, why we're doing this is all about relationships and community. I think nowadays we all are kind of recruiting people in different areas of our city or state, and then now with technology, we're recruiting people in different states. So sometimes, well, I feel like one of the main reasons why I've been with Pampered Chef so long is because of the relationships that I've formed. I think that if I was out here doing this on my own, I definitely would not probably even be here today. So. Relationships are key, and so what this is doing for us is it's connecting people that might not necessarily get connected otherwise, and it's connecting them far better than any phone call could do. So to kind of give you the logistics, if you've never heard of this before, basically what it is a web-based video conference, and to kind of just run down the list of what it is. You can pay for a subscription. There's a free version you can use, but it limits you on just a couple different things. So it's like $9 a month. That's like 2 coffees a month. It's not that much, and it lets you record a conference that you do, so people can go back and watch it later, just like you could do a training call. It lets you have more people, we're kind of unsure on exactly how many, 25 to 50 or something like that with the paid subscription, but you get a lot of people on there. And the purpose of this kind of is for a smaller group anyways. Much past 12 or 15 people on there, you kind of lose the purpose anyways. So you can fit, we know, at least 25 people on there. And you have an unlimited time. You can do it you can do a conference for however long you want it to be. So it's really simple. You can download the app on your phone or any mobile device that you have. It's Zoom, Z-O-O-M. And if you're using a computer, you just go to the website, and it's really easy to use if you have a webcam on your computer. If someone doesn't have a webcam, they can still get on the conference. It just won't show their video. A lot of people end up doing it on their mobile devices though, because it's really easy. So it brings everybody up on the screen, just kind of like Hollywood Squares, it brings everybody's face up onto the screen. And yes, as the host, you have the ability to mute people or to mute their audio if they're a little distracting, or to mute their video if you're staring at their forehead or the back of their wall. Some people aren't aware that they're being videoed. So you have those capabilities as a host. So you set up your meeting room, just kind of like you would set up a conference call. You set it up online, set up your meeting room, and it sends you a link. And a lot of times what we do is we tiny the link, so it'll be like tiny.cc/consultant strong start. And that's our new consultant call 1 that we do. So when someone joins, their picture comes up and their name comes right under their picture. So people know the person's name and the face, they put it together. There's even like a chat feature in this to where someone can send the host a direct chat if they have a question. People can even chat back and forth with each other, which might seem, as a host, might seem counterproductive, but actually, again, what it does is it's building relationships with people that might not necessarily have connected before. So what we have done, what we've used this for is the new consultant training calls. We found that a lot of us directors were doing, we felt like broken records because we were doing the same call 1 with every person that joined our team that month, that joined our organization. And it wasn't a great use of our time to be doing that same call with every single person. So what we've done is we've set up a Wednesday night new consultant training call. And the idea is for directors to kind of take turns doing this. The script is the same. And for anybody who's joined the Carpenter organization that week, they can jump on that Zoom conference. And a director is leading it. So what's really cool is we get like sometimes we have 3 people on there. Sometimes we've had like 8 or 10 people on there. And it gets people on there, someone who's brand new, who's still waiting for their kit to come in or just got their kit. It gets them on there and lets them see other consultants, other new consultants that they might see on the Facebook page. It gets them to hear from a director they might see on our email newsletters, things like that. And we go through the list of 40 with 10 people at a time instead of one by one on the phone. We go through letting them introduce themselves, share where they're from, share their goals, and things like that. And we've also done a director-bound kind of smaller group phone calls, or it's not a phone call, a video series. And that's been really cool because we'll get, anywhere from 4 to 6 people on the line. What I've done is I've partnered with 2 of my sister directors, there are 3 of my sister directors, and we each had a few people who are working on directors, so we got them all in there together, and they got to meet each other and kind of build those relationships. It was really cool. We've used it when we wanted to connect 2 people, like if I have someone on my team who's working on a goal, and my sister director has someone on her team who's working on the same goal, we'll get them on a Zoom conference together and let them meet and let them connect and share ideas. So the idea here is that it's really connecting people a lot better than any kind of phone call would do. When you get upwards of 18 or more people, it does lose its effectiveness, so sometimes a phone call is necessary, but this has been really great for smaller groups. The thing that we really notice is I'll just give an example and throw my director team under the bus. But we do a Friday morning director call, and where we just talk about different things that are going on. And we have done it in the past where we've done phone call or we've done Zoom conferences. And I kind of get on love that we need to be doing these Zoom conferences every week, because when we're on a Zoom conference, you can see what everybody's doing. So there's accountability in that. You can't be on the other line doing your dishes or doing your laundry and just have it on mute and have it going in the background while you're in another area of your house. Not that any of us do that, but it adds accountability to the call. Sometimes on phone calls, the leader is pulling teeth to get people to respond because Lord knows what everybody else is doing on that line. A lot of times I'm changing a diaper or I'm doing all kinds of stuff. So when you're on a Zoom conference, there's accountability. You have to have your face in front of the screen, and it just makes for a lot more productive phone call. I know that if you're a leader in this company, you've been on those phone calls where you're leading and you're trying to get answers out of people and nobody's speaking up because there's no accountability. So yeah, okay, just making sure I'm good on time. Okay, so really I think I've driven this point home, but the biggest thing is the relationship building for us in the accountability. We've also utilized this service just to, if 3 or 4 of us directors want to get on and just have office time together. Honestly, sometimes you feel like you're working all alone in your office where you have 3 or 4 other friends of yours who are doing the same thing. Why not get on a Zoom conference and get some of your work done and share ideas and brainstorm? We have done these director-bound calls, and a lot of those people are in this room today, and some of them are even directors. We have done these director-bound series, and we'll set it to go from 9 to 9:45, and we'll have people still hanging out till 11 o'clock on these Zoom conferences, which is really, really cool, because past the training, you have people just hanging out and getting to know each other better and sharing ideas. And sometimes it's those connections that you make with people who are not related to you at all within they're just a sister consultant. Sometimes it's those connections that you make with people that really can bring your business to a new level. So that's been really cool too. So the bottom line is there's only so much you can accomplish on a phone call. So these conferences have allowed us to really connect and build community on our team with people who don't see each other at meetings a lot. So that's all I can share today.
Challenge you to try something new with your business.
Is it recordable?
Yes.
Record this.
Yes, you can record it.
Thank you.
Thank you.